Welcome, everybody.
Hey, hey. Good boy, Tucker.
Work smarter where you want.
This is learning at its most fun.
Thank you all for joining us today for another Redtail Essentials webinar. Today we're going to be discussing mail merge. My name is Michael. I am one of the trainers here at Redtail. And like I said, today we'll be discussing the mail merge function within the CRM. This is a tool that allows you to print a physical letter from a template and be able to pull information from contact records in your CRM. So this is great whenever you want to send out the same letter to multiple contacts in your CRM, and you don't want to have to go into those letters and edit the things like their name, their address, any contact information that you're putting into that letter that's specific to that contact. In those situations, you can use a mail merge, which would be a Word document template that you can create your letter in, and then that template can be uploaded to the CRM, and you can pull contact information from the CRM to fill in those fields, such as first name, last name, or address. So this can be really, really helpful. Like I said, whenever you're sending out a lot of letters, this can be helpful during times of the year when maybe around holidays, when you're sending out letters to large groups of your contacts. And we're going to be going through the whole process today of how to create a mail merge template in Word, how to upload that template to your CRM, how to run that mail merge template for contacts in your CRM, as well as how to document that that mail merge has been run for those contacts. So the first thing that we're going to need to do is we'll need to create a template that can be uploaded into our CRM. And like I mentioned, we're going to be doing this in Word. So this does require that you use Microsoft Word to be able to do this. You won't be able to use any other like Notepad tools or anything like that. It does need to be Microsoft Word. So I'm going to pull up Word here. I just have a brand new document. And what we're going to need to do is any information that we want the document to be able to pull from our CRM, we need to insert that information into this document in a specific way. So what we would do is up at the top of Word, we would go to our Insert tab. And when we click on this Insert tab, you'll see all these options have been updated. And we're going to go over to the right side of the screen in this text section, and we're going to click on Quick Parts. And in the Quick Parts menu, we're going to choose the Field option. Now, this allows us to insert a field into our Word document. So what we'll want to do here is under Field, for categories, we're going to choose Mail Merge. And doing that is going to limit these field name options that we have over on the left side. And then we're going to choose Merge Field as our option. And you'll notice that this middle portion of the window has now updated, and it allows us to enter a field name. And this is where we'll put in the specific coding for the field that we want to pull from Redtail. Well, we might not know exactly what we need to put in here. So in this case, what we would want to do is we would want to check the Redtail help desk. And on our help desk, we have a list of all of the different merge fields that can be used in a mail merge. So to do that, I'm going to pull up my CRM. And we are just logged into our Today page here. I'm going to go up to the question mark up in the top right corner. This is like our help section within the CRM. And then from here, you'll click on the tile that also has the question mark, and that's going to bring us to the Redtail help desk. And when we're on the help desk, we can browse through our articles by clicking on these tiles, but we can also use our search bar up in the top right corner. So for this, all we would want to search is for the phrase merge fields, and that should pull up the very first article here is mail merge fields. So if I open that article, we'll see this is a list of all of the merge fields that the Redtail CRM recognizes and can be used in these mail merge documents. So you can see there are a good number of different fields that you can pull. And some of these fields are going to work differently depending on what information you have in your CRM. Some of the more straightforward ones would be things like name, which is going to produce the client's full name, or specific names like first name, middle name, or last name. But one really cool one I want to point out is something like nickname first name. This is going to return the nickname on the contact record if a nickname exists. If a nickname doesn't exist on that contact record, then it's going to pull the client's first name. So this can be used in situations where maybe your letter that you're sending out is a more casual letter, or you want to seem a little less formal in your letters. You can use people's nicknames, and the CRM is going to be able to pull those nicknames if they exist in the document, or excuse me, in the contact record. But if they don't exist, it'll just pull that contact's first name. Likewise, we can also pull information for a spouse as well. If the contact that we are pulling information from has a spouse, then it will pull that spouse's information as well. And you can see there's other information we can pull that is more contact information like address, or things that are specific to that contact record, like their status, category, and source. So for this demonstration, we're going to just produce a mail merge template document that is a letter heading that maybe includes an address block for the users, as well as their first name and their spouse's first name if the spouse, or if the contact record has a spouse. So I do want to first show you the address options that we have for merge fields. You'll notice there are 3 separate options: address 1, address 2, and address 3, and they all produce different information. We recommend that anytime you are putting an address block into a mail merge template, that you use all 3 lines here. And this is going to make sure that you get all of the address information that is in your CRM, depending on if there is a second address line for the primary address. So what I mean by that is address 1 will always return the first line of the client's primary address. Address 2 is going to return the second line of the client's primary address if that second line exists. That would be something like a suite number or an apartment number. If that exists, address 2 is going to return that second line. If that doesn't exist, then it will return the city, state, zip of the primary address. If that second line does exist and it's not able to produce the city, state, and zip of the primary address, then that information will be returned on address line 3. But if that information was returned on address line 2, address line 3 will be blank. So this is just an easy way to make sure you get all of the address into that address block. Now, I'm going to use this information to actually create our merge fields. So what I need to do is I need to use this information, or this phrase, exactly. So I'm just going to copy it from here. We're going to go back to our Word document and put it into this field. So right where it says field name, I'm going to paste the address 1. I could also just type out address 1 if I wanted to. Then when I click OK, it's going to insert that merge field into my document. Now you can see if I click on this, the entire thing is highlighted. This is letting us know that this is all one piece of information. It's not separate letters all put into this. It's all one piece of information. And you might also see that it looks like this, where it says merge field address 1 / merge format, or you might see that it looks like this, where it just has 2 carets, the phrase that you put in, and another 2 carets. They're both going to produce the same thing. If you like one more than the other, you can use this option where it says toggle field codes, and this will just allow you to see the actual code that's within that merge field. So now that we've got our address 1, we're going to hit enter, and we are going to insert address line 2 the exact same way. We're going to go to quick parts and then field. You'll notice mail merge has already been selected for us since we chose that in our last insert. And then we'll go to merge field, and I will put address 2 as our second line. And when I click OK, we will see that adds address 2 as well. And then I'm just going to toggle this back so everything looks the same. And then I'm going to insert address line 3. So again, going to quick parts and field, and then on the left side, choosing merge field and adding address 3. Now, this is going to return the first 3 lines of any address for a contact record that we use this mail merge for. Now that we have the address box here, I also want to put the contact's first name and the spouse's first name if there is a spouse. So first I will type out the word dear, because that's going to be in the document, and I'll hit space, and then I will add the contact's first name. So again, going back to our help desk article, if I'm looking at contact names, I have a couple options. I can put their full name, I can put just their first, middle, or last name if I want. I think I want this to be a little more casual, so I'm going to choose nickname first name as the merge field. So we're going to copy that, go back to our Word document, and right here after the space, after the word dear, I'm going to then insert a new field. We will go to merge field and paste the nickname first name option and click OK. And now we have dear nickname first name. So again, this is going to include the nickname if it exists, and if not, it will pull the contact's first name. Now, I would like to also address the contact's spouse if the contact spouse exists. Now, I can do that by inserting a field that is only going to show up, inserting a field, and that information is only going to show if that information in the CRM exists. So it'll only show up on this template if that information is in the CRM. So what I can do here is, without clicking any space or anything like that, right next to the merge field I already included, I'm going to insert the spouse's nickname as well. So I'll insert a field. I'm going to go back to my help desk article, and let's choose spouse nickname first name. And copy that merge field, go back to our Word document. Under mail merge, we'll go to merge field, and I'm going to paste this in here. Now, this isn't going to make sense if there is a spouse and the CRM pulls all of that information. I don't want it to say dear and then the name of the contact and then immediately say the name of the spouse without any spaces or the word and. I do want the space and the word and before the spouse's nickname as well. But I only want that to show up if there's information in this merge field. So what I can do here is I can use the field options menu on the right side of this pop-up, and I can choose to have text inserted before this merge field. So if I click on that box to check it off, then I can add my information to be inserted with this field. So here is where I'm going to put the space, the word and another space. And then I can click the OK button. And what this does is this enters, I'm going to toggle these really quickly so that we can see what they look like in a little bit more plain formatting. But what this does is it enters the contact's first name, and then it's going to enter a space and space spouse nickname first name if that information exists. If it doesn't exist, this entire thing is not going to show up. So the space and space won't be there. Then after the spouse's name, I can put my comma so that that shows up in the letter once we run the mail merge. So now that I have this information here, I am going to want to save this template and upload it into my CRM. I could add more information if I wanted to. I could write out my entire letter. I could insert more merge fields if I wanted to as well. But just for demonstration purposes, this is what I wanted to show you, the address block, and then how to insert one name and then some conditional information with another name as well. So all I'm going to do here is I'm going to save this document. And this is something that you'll want to take note of. I'm going to save it to my desktop. And we can name this document. Let's call it maybe a letterhead with address. And when you're saving, you will want to make sure to change the type of document that this is. By default, Word is going to save it as a Word document, which you may recognize as a document that has the extension of .docx. And what we want to do is we want to save it instead as a Word 97 to 2003 document. This is going to save this as a .doc document, and that's the format that the CRM recognizes and is coded off of. So we do need to make sure that any mail merge templates that we're uploading into our CRM have been saved as this 97 to 2003 document type. Once I save that, now we can then add this to our CRM. So all I'm going to do to add this to our CRM, I'm going to pull up our CRM database. And from anywhere in the database, whether you're in this help section or the today page, you can go to your name up in the top right corner and go to manage your account. That's going to bring you to this page. And from here, you'll go to the manage templates section and you're going to click on mail merge templates. Now, this is going to take you to a page that shows you all of the mail merge templates that have already been added to your database. So any of these templates are ones that you can use, but if we want to add a new one, we're going to use this window on the right side. I can either drag and drop my files right here, or I can click the blue Add Files button, and this is going to allow me to browse my computer and find that document. So here's that document sitting on my desktop. I'm going to choose letterhead with address and open that file. Now that it's over here, I can see that document. I do need to click the green Start Upload button, and you'll see that it did a really quick upload, and now we have that option sitting over here on the left. Now that we have that template uploaded to our database, now we can run the mail merge with this template. So the first thing that we'll need to do when running a mail merge is that we'll need to find the group of contacts we want to run this mail merge for. So there's a couple ways that we can do that. The first way to do that is just by going to contacts over on the left side menu. And we could choose contacts A through Z up at the top. And this is going to allow me to see all of the contacts in my database. It's going to, by default, show me just the contacts who have a last name that starts with the letter A. But if I wanted to see everyone, I could click the All button up here, and it would show me all the records. So you can see I have 706 records in my database. And if I wanted to, I could select all of these records by clicking this box up in the top left corner. You'll notice that it tells us it only has 150 of the 706 selected. So I will need to click this box that says 700, select all 706 contacts. Now that I have all 706 selected, I'm going to go to Contact Options and then choose Mail Merges. This is going to bring up a window that says that the mail merge will run for all 706 selected records. And then I can choose from this drop-down menu which mail merge template I want to run. So we can choose that letterhead with address mail merge template and run that mail merge. One other thing I want to point out before I run that mail merge is that we also have this option here that says Save as Note. What this is going to do is this is going to create an automatically generated note by the CRM, and it's going to add that note to all 706 selected records. And that note is just to document that this mail merge was run for that record on this day and by this user. If I didn't want to run it for all 706 selected records, or maybe I didn't want to even run it for any of my business records, and I just wanted to run it for all of my individual records, regardless of what their status or category is, then in that situation, I would want to use the advanced search instead. So using the advanced search allows us to filter down for a specific group of contacts. And here, let's say I just wanted to find those individuals. So under type, I could choose contact, because that's information that lives on the contact level. For field, I would choose type. Operand, I would choose equal to. The operand tells the CRM how to use this information. And then value, I'm going to choose the specific contact type I'm looking for, which is individual. And if I run that search, it's going to return just the contact records that are individuals. So now I have all 593 records. And from here, I can do the same thing. I can select all contacts by clicking this box above the other boxes. Make sure that if it only gets 50 or 150 contacts, that you select all of the contacts that are in the search. Then you can go to contact options and choose mail merges. And again, this is going to allow you to select from a template that you've uploaded to your database. So if we choose letterhead with address, and maybe we say, yes, I do want to save this as a note, then I can add an additional information to that note if I would like. Maybe I state sent holiday letter. Maybe that's the additional information I want to add to my note. I could even add a category to that note if I wanted to. But then when I click Run Mail Merge, one of two things will happen. Either that mail merge will immediately be produced and we'll see it download down in the bottom left corner of my browser, or the CRM will give us a notification letting us know that it's working on it. It just depends on how big the file is that is being produced. So when we click Run Mail Merge, we see, oh, we are going to be notified when it's complete. So I will get an email sent to the email address associated with the username I'm logged into, letting me know when it's finished. If that wasn't the case, we would see it down in the bottom left corner as a file that was immediately downloaded. But typically, whenever you get that notification stating that we are working on it, typically those mail merges actually are produced really, really quickly. So I'm going to open a new tab here. And we'll go to that dashboard. And I'm going to go up to my name up in the top right corner and go to Manage Your Downloads. And that is going to be where we will find the downloaded or the produced mail merge if it didn't automatically download. So I can see this letterhead with address. This is the one that we just created. I see today's date and the time that it was created. And if I click on that, it will then download that document to my computer. Once it's downloaded, I can open up that document. And we'll see here that the document that's opened is going to be one single document that has a separate page for each contact record that we ran the mail merge for. So this is the idea that you can write out a full, 1 or 2 letter, or excuse me, page long letter, however long you want it to be. You can upload that into the CRM, and when you run the mail merge, it's just going to produce one file. You don't have to open multiple files and print all of those files. It's just going to produce one file that you can print, and it will produce all of the information that you were looking for. Now, these are a couple good examples of the mail merge working correctly, but letting us know that the information is missing in the CRM. So you'll see here, this did pull the contact's first name, but it didn't pull any of their address information. And that's just because this contact record is missing their address, or maybe their contact record doesn't have an address marked as primary. This is also letting us know that there was no spouse in this contact record or connected to this contact record either. So we see that after the first name, the comma is inserted right after. There's no space and then the comma. Let's see here. This is a good example as well, where we can see where a lot of information, all of the information we put into the template is added in this document. We have the first and second line of their address. You can see this address doesn't include that second line of primary information like suite or apartment number. So the second address line produced the city, state, and zip code. Likewise, this produced the first name of the contact record that we ran it for, as well as the space and the spouse's name that was on that contact record. So these are some good examples of how the mail merge will look depending on if there is or isn't information in the CRM. This can also be really helpful whenever you are running one of these, because it will let you know where those gaps are in your CRM information. If you're running this and you do a quick check to make sure that everyone has an address, This is an easy way to see, oh no, a couple contacts don't have addresses, or maybe they have an address, but it hasn't been marked as primary. This is an easy way to go back into your CRM and add that information. And then you could just run this mail merge again, either for the entirety of the group that you ran it for before, or just for those specific contact records. Okay, the other thing I want to show you is now that we've run this mail merge, I did mention that we are able to save that information as a note. So if I pull up the search that I ran this mail merge for, and we open up one of our contact records, let's say we open up Barry. When I go to Barry's page, we will see that note listed under the latest notes, as well as in the note section for Barry's contact record. If I click on the note, it will pull up and expand that note to show us all of the information. And this tells us that a mail merge document was created. This was the template that was run, and it was run by this user. We can see that the note was also added by that user and the date and time that the mail merge was run. Also, any additional note information that we added to the note when the mail merge was run, that's also going to be added here. Now, all of this note information, just like any other note you're adding to your CRM, it can't be edited, mainly for safety and compliance reasons. We don't want this information to get messed with at all. But if I needed to, I could always add a comment to this. Maybe we can say letters, letters mailed on 11/25/21. And we can add that comment to this to state that we ran the mail merge and that the letters were actually mailed out. So this is what those notes will look like. Like I said, that note is going to show up on the contacts record in the latest note section, as well as in the notes section of that contact record. If you don't see it in the note section, you may just want to make sure that you are selecting the type of note. It is the mail merge note here. So if that wasn't selected, you would want to make sure to select that and apply that filter, and then you'll be able to see that note that was added, as well as any comments that were added to that note as well. The last thing I just want to show you about running mail merges is that you do have a couple other options as well when running mail merges. First off, when we talk about mail merge fields, there are a lot of options that you have. So you can get creative with the way that you're inserting this information into your letters. And this allows you to pull whatever information is in those fields into the letter that you are creating. Another thing just to point out about running the actual mail merge within the CRM is that we have a couple other options that can be helpful with mail merges, specifically from the advanced search. Let's say we were running this again for all of our contacts who have the type of individual. So this is the same 593 records. After I've run the mail merge for this group of contacts, I could also print out labels or print onto envelopes specifically, or directly onto envelopes for these contacts. So again, I would go to contact records, or excuse me, contact options up in the top right corner. And then we can choose the labels option that's right above mail merge. When I click on labels, again, a very, very similar window is going to pop up that also gives us an option to save this as a note, to save this action as a note. And in this drop-down menu, you'll see that we have several different options for different Avery labels, and then a couple options for different envelope printing labels that you can run as well. So what this is going to do is it's going to produce a document that's very similar to those mail merge documents. After we ran the mail merge and it pulled information from the contact records, this is going to do the same thing, but it's going to pull the contact's name and their address. And you'll see here that we have several different Avery options changed, and each of the options has a different number. So we have 4 options that are all 5160, 4 options that are 5162, and so on. with different numbers. Now, those numbers represent the different formats that those Avery labels come in. Avery is just a popular brand of labels. You can typically find them at office supply stores. And these different numbers are just different shapes and sizes of labels. So this is going to be a different type of formatting that you can run for these mail merge, or excuse me, for the labels as well. The first option that doesn't have any words after it, this is just going to produce one label for each contact record that's selected. And it's going to produce a label with their first name, last name, and their address. If you'd like to include family names instead of first name and last name, you can choose this second option, which will produce labels with family names and addresses. If you would like their first name and last name, as well as their address, but the labels that are printed, you would like those ordered by the zip code that is connected to the address, then you can choose this option. And the last option here, the single sheet option, this is going to produce one entire sheet for each contact that's selected. So you can see here, if I were to run that for this search, it would produce 593 sheets of labels where each sheet had one contact repeated on that entire sheet, or filling out all of the labels on that sheet. So if you do want to run labels and print labels for your envelopes, or if you just want to print directly onto your envelopes, this is another option for you. If you have trouble finding Avery brand labels, a lot of labels will say on them that they're comparable to a specific Avery label. So you might not be able to find Avery brand, but you might find a brand of labels that states these labels are the same size as 5660 Avery labels. And then you could just use this Avery template instead. So that is one option for running labels. If for whatever reason you aren't able to use the labels option that's built into the CRM, maybe you aren't able to find any labels that are comparable to a Avery label, you can also print labels using Word and running it similarly to a mail merge. Essentially, it would be a mail merge that you're running, and instead of running it for full letters, you would just run them for labels. So to show you really quickly how to do that, if I pull up my Word document here, this was just the template that we had created. But if I wanted to, I could go to the Mailings tab up at the top. And under Mailings, I would then choose Labels over on the left side. And that's going to pull up a window that asks us to state what kind of labels they are. So really, all you'll need to do is go to this Options button and then choose what kind of labels you want. So this product number down in the bottom, these are going to be the different options, and it tells you the label information over on the right side. So if I wanted to do 30 per page, where the height of each label was 1 inch tall and the width were 2.63 inches tall, I could choose that option, select OK, and then I could choose New Document to create a new document with those labels already formatted in the document. In this situation, you would still insert your merge fields the same way by going to the Insert option up at the top, going to Quick Parts, and then Field. And in the very first field, you would do it the exact same way. You would choose Mail Merge and then Merge Field and put in whatever merge field you are trying to add. Make sure you spell it correctly. So if I add that here, it's going to put in that merge field for first name. And then what I want to make sure to do is in the second label section, before I add or insert the field for the name or whatever field I'm going to insert, I will first need to go to Quick Parts, choose Field, and instead of choosing Merge Field, you'll choose Next. And you'll add that to your second label. And then after you choose Next, then you can add whatever fields you wanted to add, like first name. And what this is doing is this is telling the document, or this is coding into the document to tell the CRM that this first label is going to be run for the first contact that's selected. And then we're going to move to the next contact that's selected and then run the first name merge field for that second contact. So essentially, if we had a search results, the first label would run for my first contact selected. That next field that we put in is going to bump us down to the second contact, and then it's going to pull the second contact's information for that second label. So we have some options for running mail merges. Again, just to go over the entire process in summary, the first thing you'll need to do is you will need to create a mail merge document within Word. You'll do that by inserting fields using the Quick Parts and Field button, choosing Mail Merge and then Merge Field, and inserting the field name in this window here. You can get those field names from our help desk article. If you're in the CRM and you go to the question mark up at the top right corner and then choose Redtail Help Desk, you can then search for merge fields, and it should be the first document that you see here. Once you've added those merge fields into your document, they should either look like this, where they have the 2 carets on the side of the merge field, or they'll look like this. They're both the same information, and you can toggle the field codes if you want it to look the other way. Once you have this information, you'll save it. Remember to save it as a 97 to 2003 document, and then you can upload that information or that template to your CRM by going to your name up in the top right corner, going to manage your account, and going to mail merge templates. That's going to list all of the templates that you have available. You can drag and drop new templates here or browse your computer using the Add Files button. Once you've done that, you'll then just need to choose the contacts that you want to run the mail merge for. Once you've found those contacts, you'll select all of them, go to Contact Options, choose Mail Merges, and this window will pop up. Then you'll choose the mail merge template that you want to run, and you have the option to save that as a note with additional note information. Once you run the mail merge, it will either show up down in the bottom left corner of your browser and immediately download, or you'll need to go to your name up in the top right corner, go to Manage Your Downloads, and you'll see that here up at the top. We will also email you whenever that is done if you did get the notification and it didn't download immediately. Once you have this document, you can download it and then print that document from within Word, and it will print a separate copy for each contact record that was run in that mail merge.
Thanks so much for joining us today for this particular session. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to give us a call at 800-206-5030, option 3 for support, or just shoot us an email over to support@redtailtechnology.com. Thanks a lot and have a great day.